It was 1 year ago today that the world declared we are officially in a pandemic emergency. Tomorrow marks the first day that the NBA suspended all play for the foreseeable future. And since then, professional sports have continued. They've picked back up. Granted, they've changed and they've pivoted, but they're up and running again. Why can't small business do the same? I'm Sven Hansen, and this is the Hometown Brawn Podcast. Yes, I'm back, and I'm going to ask that you subscribe below and follow our social channels to stay up to date. Where have I been? Well, I've been working. I've had my head down, and like a lot of other entrepreneurs, we've been pivoting so that we can continue to be able to operate. And it's been hard. And I'm going to talk about that in my future episodes. But today really is a special edition of the Hometown Brawn Podcast. You know, today we take a moment to think about how COVID-19 has affected all of our lives. And over the course of the pandemic to date, we've seen 2.6 million lives worldwide lost. 2.6 million, over 2.6 million people have died. And in Canada specifically, we've seen 900,000 cases so far. And we've seen just under 23,000 deaths. That is a tragedy. It's terrible. And it's important that we take a moment to assess what's happening. And I just want to bring a little bit of light to what is happening with the small business and medium-sized business community. I was looking through some reports right before the pandemic happened, October of 2019. And there were some reports that told us some pretty wild statistics on Canadian-run small and medium-sized businesses. In Canada, we had 852,000 entrepreneurs, and 70% of the entire Canadian workforce, 70% of the entire workforce across all industries was employed by small to medium-sized businesses. So I just want you to think about that. Coming into the pandemic, 852,000 entrepreneurs and 70% of the entire workforce was made up of small and medium-sized businesses. And at the time, 41% of Canada's GDP came from small and medium-sized businesses. So it's very important that we talk about this. Now, I've become motivated recently by other entrepreneurs in my community who have stood up and decided to tell their story and be heard. And I want to create this as a platform, as a dialogue to help other voices get heard, other entrepreneurs, other small business and medium-sized business owners to be heard. We need to really take a moment and decide what our future is going to look like for us, for our families, for our children. Just a month ago, on January 21st, the CFIB estimated that there was a possibility we could see over 200,000 Canadian businesses shut their doors permanently. And as much as nearly 3 million Canadian jobs could be at risk before we even get through this. In Canada, and Ontario specifically, we have the lowest rates in the country for businesses that are able to operate a capacity that is able to keep the lights on. So, the Hometown Brawn Podcast is back, but let me clarify. The vision behind the Hometown Brawn Podcast has always been to come together as a community and tell the stories of entrepreneurs. And that's what we're doing. Now, the stories right now we have to tell them, because this is what's happening. This is real. This is affecting everyone. It's not just the entrepreneurs, it's their families, it's the communities, and it's the economy. Small and medium-sized business are the backbone of the economy. So it's time that we have to talk about it. And my job's not here to stir the pot or to deny COVID and the seriousness of it. My job is just to tell the entrepreneur's side of the story. And I've said in my previous episodes, it's okay to not be okay. And right now, I think that's even more important than ever. Because right now, if you're okay, that's the abnormality. Mental health, suicides, overdoses, debt, bankruptcy. These are all things that aren't being talked about. The average Canadian business owner right now is $170,000 in debt. Across Canada, small and medium-sized business owners have a collective of $135 million in debt. That is serious. It's time that we talked about it. We've sat by as multiple lockdowns have prevented small and medium-sized businesses from opening their doors and being able to put food on the table for their families. And I've become motivated and empowered by seeing other entrepreneurs in my community stand up and get the attention of municipal leaders during this most recent lockdown. They've demanded change. And so before the next one happens, let's be proactive. Let's tell our stories. Let's show other people what's happening. Let's connect with other communities, other countries maybe, and see what they're doing. It's time that we tell the truth. It's time that we share our struggle stories. So this is my invitation to you, to all you small and medium-sized business owners. Let's talk about what's going on. Again, please subscribe below and share. If we can get these stories to stimulate a new outlook, perhaps they can show decision makers in our governments to make better decisions that won't destroy more lives than the virus itself will.